Hello everyone, it's Andrew from Gem TCG, and in today's video I want to do a roadmap for beginner sellers so they know exactly what to aim for when they're just starting off and the little steps and goals to achieve along the way. Because I was looking back and reflecting on how it was when I first started and thinking about how it took me probably 6 to 10 hours per day just working on cards, doing a bunch of things manually, and having a bunch of bad systems in place. So the point of this video is to make it easier for you guys so that you don't have to waste too much time doing things the wrong way and set your store up for success and to also be scalable. So first things first, assume you're starting off, you maybe have a little bit of cards in your personal collection and you have, let's say, $500 for extra capital to invest into the business. What I would do first is list all of the cards you have in your personal collection. And the reason for that is, unless it's an extremely rare card or something really sentimental to you, it's very easy to get these cards again. A lot of people get scared of not wanting to sell their cards because they're worried that they'll never be able to find it again. But there are so many copies of every card online, it shouldn't really be a concern. And the reason why I would recommend doing that is because typically cards in your personal collection are cards that many other people would be interested in. So if you list these on your store, you'll get a lot of attention right away, which is very hard to do when you have not a lot of inventory and you're a brand new seller. So start off with that because you're not going to have to invest any more money into that because you already have it. And then with that extra money, you're going to want to buy a small amount of shipping supplies. So you don't want to overinvest everything on that, but you do want to buy it in bulk so that way you're not spending like crazy amount per, supply. So maybe buy 100 bubble mailers, 100 regular envelopes, 100 card savers or top loaders. Just get things in increments of 100. So that way that'll hold up for your first 100 orders. And by that time, getting 100 orders in, you're going to have a lot more money coming in, so then you can reinvest that later on. So once you get to that point, you have the supplies, you have the inventory listed, you're going to want to use all of your extra money on inventory. And most people kind of get overwhelmed with this. They don't really know where to look or what to get with that money. And let's assume at this point you have $300 of capital or $400, because I don't think the shipping supplies will cost that much. You're going to want to spend it all on bulk. And not just regular common, uncommon bulk, because that is pretty hard to sell unless you know exactly what to look for and you have the awareness to pull out the playable trainer cards and list those on TCG Player, stuff like that. So you're going to want to buy reverse holo and up bulk. So reverse holos, ultra rares, stuff of that matter. So this way you can list these cards and not have to worry so much about running into your listing limit. And they're also more desirable since they are less common. And in terms of pricing, they are more expensive in a percentage basis, but a reverse holo in bulk is probably 5 cents now, whereas a regular card is 2 cents. So yes, you're paying 2.5 times more, but it's only 3 cents more, but you could sell it much quicker. So then once you get more inventory in, you have the shipping supplies, and then you have your store building out. Next thing you're going to want to invest in is a shipping label printer. So these cost somewhere around $70 to $100, but the amount of time you'll save using that printer and the amount of money you'll save on ink and paper and tape is going to pay for itself in probably a few months, depending on how many orders you get. So to be honest, I'd probably even recommend getting that before you even get more inventory, assuming you have enough cards in your collection. But that is probably one of the best, if not the best, thing you could buy for your business, besides the inventory, of course. And then once you have that, you can keep yourself afloat, because you're probably going to have to be taking pictures with your phone, which is going to be very time consuming. You're going to be creating the listings manually on eBay, also very time consuming. So my best piece of advice is to stick through with that part for a little bit and tough it out, because you don't want to invest into the next two things I'm going to talk about until you have enough capital to where you can reinvest it and keep buying more inventory and get those sales in. Because yes, it's going to take longer, but you don't want to eat up 90% of your funds on a machine that is going to make you save time. You're going to want to make that investment when it's easier to handle, I would say. So as long as you can keep repeating that process and buying more bulk and maybe venturing out to a little bit of collections to buy in the, I would say, like $5 to $10 range, keep doing that until it gets to a point where it's like you simply cannot keep up with the orders or the listing process along with whatever your day-to-day responsibilities are, your job, your house, whatever. So then when you get to that point, the next thing you're going to want to buy is a document scanner. Whether you get an auto feed or a manual feed, doesn't really matter. Auto feed is obviously much quicker, but there are things you have to do to make it not damage your cards. Whereas a manual feed will just scan them. It won't damage them, but it's just a lot slower. And you could find these on eBay, Amazon, wherever for around $100 to $200 on the low end. And then obviously like the Ricoh 8170 or the Epson DS 870, those are much more expensive, around that $800 to $1,000 range. So I would not really recommend going for that right away. I was using an Epson 400 for probably 2 years. And yes, it was obviously slower than the 8170, but it still got its job done. And when you're just starting off, you don't really have the amount of inventory to require something to list or to scan them that much quicker. So it's not really worth paying 5 times the price to take something that would take 1 minute to then take 30 seconds. Because already from jumping from the phone to a scanner, you're taking something that would take an hour to probably 2 minutes. So making that extra jump for 5 times the price doesn't really make sense, in my opinion. And that's kind of how I view it. So then once you get that, your time management is going to be much easier because, like I said, you're taking something that would have taken you an hour and now it's taking you 2 minutes because the scanner is going to be able to take pictures front and back. It's going to be high quality in a much shorter amount of time. And then you could use that time to then go on to Facebook groups or anywhere else and look for more inventory. Because the biggest bottleneck, I would say, is getting more inventory, and that is the hardest thing to do. So if you can allocate more time to sourcing, then everything else will handle itself, assuming you're doing them all right. But the more inventory you get in, the more sales you can make. So it's just the number one thing you want to be focusing on is getting more inventory, because that is by far the most difficult thing to do. And as you keep growing that, and keep in mind, all these steps I'm giving, they are very generic and broad, but as long as you follow these in that matter, it makes it much easier. Because what I was doing when I first started off, it was kind of all over the place. I didn't know where to grow my store on. I didn't know what cards to look for, anything like that. I had to learn it all from scratch. And I think that having these sort of guidelines and goals will make it easier for you to look at or like know what to look for. And then as you're in the process of it, you can tweak things as you go along. You don't have to follow these steps exactly, but it's just something to look out for. And then once you get to the point where you have a bunch of inventory, you have the scanner, you have the shipping supplies, all that stuff. Next thing you are going to want to buy is TCG Automate, which is the platform I created. It makes it just much easier to list cards on eBay, Shopify, TCG Player, and whatnot. And the reason why you would want something like this is because you're taking another huge bottleneck, which is listing the cards, and you're cutting that time down by at least half, depending on how you use it and how efficient you are. And then the reason why I saved that one for the last part is because until you get to a huge amount of inventory that you could easily process, it doesn't really make sense, or at least to my knowledge, I wouldn't really recommend getting something for bulk operations until you have a lot of inventory to process. And having that scanner combination with the TCG Automate makes it really easy to do that. So then once you get to that point, you have the scanner, the software, the inventory, and the supplies, everything else. The next thing you want to focus on is building out your name on Facebook and Instagram or wherever you are preferring to be present. And this isn't really a need, I would say, but it's like an advanced goal. Because if you have your name recognizable and people constantly see your name on these groups, it makes it easier for them to reach out to you as opposed to seeing some random name and then you have to worry about whether they're going to be scammed or not. And I know a lot of people, when I make my posts, they will DM me and say, oh, I've seen you around before, so I trust you. I know you're not just a random seller or buyer. And that definitely helps a lot when it comes to buying collections. And you kind of cater towards those repeat sellers that you meet, because over the past, I would say the past 2-ish months, I've been really busy growing TCG Automate and adding a bunch of new features. So I haven't had time to really source more inventory or go out of my way to do it. But because of the connections I've made over the years, there have been, I would say, 5 to 10 repeat sellers that have been coming to me every week with more inventory to sell, more collections that I would buy at 70 to 80%. And that has saved me so much time and headache, because finding collections and getting people to send you the proper information you need is very difficult. Most people, they'll send you a picture of their card collection, but they won't send the TCG player list or a collector list. They won't send you the price they want, all this type of stuff. But having people that you've worked with in the past, they kind of know how you operate, or they will know how you operate, and they'll have it all ready for you at once. And then you just send the payment. It makes it much easier to work with. So that's kind of the beginner to, I guess, pro pipeline with selling cards. First thing you want to do is get your personal collection listed, buy shipping supplies. Then you get the thermal label printer to print your shipping labels. Then you get the scanner. Then you get TCG Automate. And then you grow your presence on Facebook or Instagram. And in between all of those steps, you're going to want to be buying more inventory, whether it's bulk or collections. Honestly, never stop buying more inventory, because as long as you're getting a good price on it, you will always profit. Or maybe not always, but if you price it accordingly, you'll always at least break even. And just have patience with it, because you can't buy something and then expect it to sell a week later. You need to be able to hold on to stuff and let the buyers come to you. But that's about it for this video. I hope you guys found this helpful, and I'll see you all in the next video.